She isn't chasing youth, she's chasing certainty wrapped in calm. Right now, too many good men over 40 think age is a disadvantage. You text more, explain more, try harder, and end up feeling invisible beside younger guys. But here's the truth. Younger women prefer older men when your presence matches the fantasy, confident, decisive, composed, and already building a life she wants to enter, not manage. This isn't about tricks, fashion, or pretending to be 25. It's Stoic psychology applied to modern dating. Control your attention, lead the rhythm, speak less, mean more, and let curiosity work for you. In this video, you'll learn 10 precise moves how to use eye contact without being creepy, tease her mind instead of her body, show standards without arguing, touch with intention, and lead conversations that make time vanish. You'll also learn what to stop doing, the silent habits that make you look needy, predictable, or stuck. If you're ready to turn experience into advantage, stay with me, breathe slower, and let your calm do the talking. This is the older man's playbook, quiet, clean, powerful. We'll turn age into leverage, refine your look without trying too hard. Set boundaries that attract and use silence, pacing, and purpose to create polarity. I'll give you lines you can use tonight and mistakes to avoid today. Let's get into it. Number 1. Age isn't a weakness, it's your secret weapon. Most men hit their 40s or 50s and quietly believe the best years of attraction are behind them. They see younger men getting attention online, hear phrases like "she wants someone her age," and start shrinking themselves. But the truth is, age isn't the problem. It's the perception of age that's killing your confidence. What younger men have in energy, older men replace with presence. When you know how to use it, that calm, seasoned confidence becomes irresistible. Let's look at a real example. Brian, 52, a business consultant from Dallas, had been divorced for 3 years when he met Emily, 33, at a friend's rooftop party. He almost didn't talk to her, thinking she's way too young, probably looking for someone who can keep up with her world. But when he finally did, something shifted. He wasn't flashy, didn't try to impress. He spoke slowly, listened more, and kept eye contact steady. Instead of pretending to be younger, he stayed fully himself, calm, playful, grounded. By the end of the night, Emily was the one initiating conversation. Why? Because Brian wasn't performing. He embodied something most younger men haven't mastered yet: control. And control is power. You see, younger women are often drawn to older men for emotional stability. Their world is fast, reactive, full of men who text too much, talk too fast, and crumble the moment a woman pulls away. Then they meet a man who doesn't flinch, who knows who he is, moves with purpose, and doesn't need validation. That's rare energy. It makes her feel safe, intrigued, and slightly off balance, the perfect mix for attraction. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your thoughts about age define the way you show up. If you walk into an interaction thinking, "I'm too old for this," you project insecurity. But if you walk in thinking, "I've lived enough to know my value," she feels it before you say a word. That's the Stoic advantage. You don't chase approval, you project calm certainty. Let's be honest, yes, younger men might have tighter skin or louder energy, but women mature faster emotionally. They crave grounding. They crave a man who brings order to their chaos. You don't have to compete on youth. You win through depth. When your energy says, "I've already been through the noise," she relaxes into your silence. Brian told me later that when he stopped trying to fit in, everything changed. He didn't dress like a 25-year-old, didn't text every hour, didn't brag about his career. He was simply curious about her world, and that curiosity mixed with self-assurance made him magnetic. For the first time, he said, "I realized my calm wasn't boring, it was attractive." That's the shift. Your age isn't something to hide. It's your filter, your authority, your masculine advantage. When you carry your years like armor instead of baggage, she feels it. She starts seeing you not as older but as stronger. So stop apologizing for your experience. Stop shrinking to fit into youth culture. Your calm, your patience, your standards, they're your edge. You're not competing with younger men, they're competing with your peace. Because when you wear your age with quiet confidence, you stop chasing her attention, and she starts fighting for yours. Have you ever noticed how calm confidence makes people lean in? Type this below. I am the advantage. The next part will show you how something as simple as eye contact can speak louder than any words when done with the right energy. Number 2. Eye contact that makes her heartbeat slow down. You can say all the right words, dress the part, even smell incredible, but if your eyes don't speak first, none of it matters. Attraction begins before a single word leaves your mouth. And most men ruin it by either staring too intensely or looking away too soon. Both signal insecurity. True masculine energy, especially in older men, is calm, measured, and rooted in control. When your eyes project presence, her body responds before her mind can rationalize it. This isn't about staring. It's about seeing. When you make eye contact from a place of grounded awareness, not craving approval, not seeking reaction, you flip the dynamic instantly. You become the observer, not the performer. And that subtle shift in energy is everything. Because women feel your focus. They feel when you're looking to impress versus when you're simply there. The Stoics understood this kind of composure centuries ago. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That truth extends beyond behavior. It's about presence. Your ability to stay still, hold her gaze, and not react nervously to her expressions tells her something profound. You're unshakable. While most men chase reactions, smiles, laughter, validation, the Stoic man lets silence speak for him. He doesn't rush to fill the space. He owns it. Think about how rare that is today. In a world of screens and constant chatter, someone who can hold eye contact without flinching or overcompensating stands out. It's not dominance, it's control. It's saying, "I'm not seeking your energy, I'm offering mine." And that creates an entirely different emotional rhythm. When you lock eyes with a woman and your body language stays relaxed, shoulders loose, breathing steady, you send a primal signal. It says, "I see you, and I'm not intimidated by what I see." Her nervous system mirrors yours. If you're tense, she feels it. If you're calm, her heartbeat slows down to match your rhythm. That's the biology behind emotional connection. Her body synchronizes to your state. The secret is not to hold her gaze as a technique. Techniques kill authenticity. The goal is to be genuinely grounded in yourself. Be interested, not intense. Let the moment breathe. If she looks away, don't chase it with your eyes. Keep your calm. She'll look back, and when she does, she'll feel the pull, not because you demanded attention, but because you anchored it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power over your mind is exactly what makes your eye contact magnetic. When you control your thoughts, your body follows. And when your body is calm, your eyes tell the truth of your composure. Eye contact is the simplest yet most underused form of dominance, not through force, but through peace. You don't need words to show intent. Your gaze already says, "I don't need to rush this moment." That alone separates you from nearly every man she meets. Remember, younger women aren't just attracted to looks, they're addicted to energy. The way you look at her tells her whether you're stable or uncertain, confident or craving. When you master that stillness behind your gaze, you shift from being one of many to being unforgettable. Because real attraction doesn't come from saying more, it comes from seeing more. And the man who can see without needing to speak always wins. Now tell me, have you ever noticed how silence can speak louder than charm? Type this below. I hold my frame. Next, we'll explore how teasing her mind, not her body, creates a connection no amount of compliments ever could. Number 3. Tease her mind, not just her looks. Most men talk to a woman's body. The rare ones talk to her mind, and those are the ones she never forgets. When you only compliment her beauty, you join the noise. Every man does that. But when you challenge her thoughts, her opinions, her sense of self, you stand out instantly. You become the man who stimulates her instead of the man who flatters her. Let's make this real. David, 48, met Jenna, 29, at a wine tasting in San Diego. She was stunning, long hair, confident, the kind of woman who's used to turning heads. Every guy there was showering her with compliments, talking about her smile or her dress. David didn't. When she asked what he thought of the event, he smiled slightly and said, "Honestly, I think the wine's better than the conversation so far." That line wasn't rude, it was playful. It made her laugh, but it also made her curious. Who is this man who isn't trying to please me? See, that's the difference. David didn't tease her appearance. He teased her perception. When a woman meets a man who speaks with confidence but doesn't rush to impress her, attraction moves from the surface to the subconscious. You don't have to be clever or witty every second. You just have to be present enough to play. Real teasing isn't about manipulation, it's about rhythm. A woman's attraction builds through tension and contrast. When she expects validation but gets challenge instead, her brain lights up. The dopamine spike isn't just from your words, it's from the uncertainty you create. Stoic men understand this dynamic better than anyone. They know how to stay emotionally centered while still playful. Seneca once said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." The same is true for desire. Don't rush to give her what she wants to hear. Let her wait. Let silence, humor, and curiosity do the work. When you tease her mind, you're telling her, "I see you, but I'm not chasing you." Younger women especially are surrounded by men who seek approval through praise. Every compliment they receive chips away at its value. But when an older man shows up with composure observing her, instead of idolizing her, she feels something new, respect, mixed with intrigue. You don't have to nag or play games. You simply create tension by not giving everything away. Let's return to David for a second. As the night went on, he didn't talk about his success or age. He listened, made small comments that made her think, and when she mentioned her passion for travel, he asked, "So are you chasing places or peace?" That question changed the tone of the conversation. She leaned in. She wasn't being admired anymore, she was being understood. That's the real art. Teasing her mind means you make her question herself, not you. You become the mirror she wants to look into. Remember this, physical compliments feed her ego. Mental stimulation feeds her soul. One fades, the other lingers. You don't need to talk louder or flirt harder. You just need to observe deeper. So the next time you're tempted to tell her she's beautiful, pause. Instead, ask something that makes her think. Speak like a man who's already seen beauty and values something rarer. Because the moment she realizes you're not after her attention, she starts chasing your respect. If you've ever turned a conversation into connection by saying less, type this below: I lead with depth. Up next, we'll uncover how to be the calm storm that draws her in without saying a single word. Number 4. Be the calm storm she can't resist. Every man wants to be the storm that captures her attention, loud, bold, impossible to ignore. But what she truly craves is the man who can be the storm without acting like one. The man who carries quiet intensity, the man whose silence feels heavier than someone else's noise. That's the difference between chaos and composure, between attraction that fades and attraction that stays. The younger man moves fast. He reacts to everything, her texts, her tone, her body language. But you've lived enough to know that energy speaks louder than words. You don't chase attention, you create gravity. Your calm presence makes her feel something she doesn't get from men her age: safety and unpredictability, both in the same breath. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the foundation of masculine control. When you stop reacting, you start influencing. Your calm doesn't mean you don't feel it, means you choose when and how to show emotion. That control is power. It's rare. And women can sense it from across the room. Think about it. Most men panic at silence. They fill every gap with nervous laughter, compliments, or explanations. But the Stoic man knows that silence is a weapon. When she pauses, you don't rush to fix the tension. You hold it. That stillness makes her heartbeat slow down, not because she's relaxed, but because she's alert. She feels that something is happening beneath the surface, something she wants to understand. That's the storm she can't resist. The calm storm is presence wrapped in mystery. It's when your movements are deliberate, your tone steady, your eyes anchored. It's when you walk into a room without needing to dominate it, yet somehow everyone feels your energy. You don't force attention, you earn it by being unshaken. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." Freedom comes from emotional detachment, not coldness but composure. You're brave enough to sit in the unknown. When she tests you, flirts, withdraws, or challenges you, you don't crumble. You smile, breathe, and let her feel the strength of a man who doesn't break under emotional weather. Being the calm storm doesn't mean being distant. It means you create contrast. Your stillness highlights your passion. Your restraint gives weight to your desire. When you finally speak, it matters. When you finally touch, it lingers. That's what younger women crave from older men, not drama, but depth. And here's the secret: she doesn't want to understand you completely. She wants to feel you deeply. The man she can predict becomes dull. The man she can't quite figure out, that's the one who keeps her addicted. When you live by Stoic composure, you become that paradox: calm but magnetic, grounded but thrilling. You stop chasing validation and start commanding attention. Now, if you want to master this deeper level of attraction, the kind that can't be faked, join our private members community. Inside, you'll learn how to embody Stoic masculine energy in your speech, your silence, and your relationships. Real lessons, deeper guidance, and a brotherhood of men walking the same path. If this message resonates with you, type this below: "I am the calm storm," and don't go anywhere. What comes next separates the men who talk about control from the ones who live it. Stay right here, because the next few minutes might change how you see yourself forever. Number 5. Challenge here, don't chase here. Every man knows what it feels like to chase. You see a woman who catches your attention, and suddenly you're trying to impress her, over-texting, over-sharing, over-explaining. You think showing effort proves your value. But in reality, it drains your power. Women aren't addicted to men who chase them. They're addicted to men who challenge them, men who make them step into your world instead of trying to fit into theirs. Let's make this real. Mark, 46, a real estate investor from Arizona, met Chloe, 28, at a friend's dinner. She was sharp, confident, and used to getting attention. Every man there complimented her. Mark didn't. He smiled, made light conversation, and when she joked about older men being predictable, he calmly said, "Maybe you've just been meeting the wrong ones." He said it without ego, without trying to prove anything. That one line shifted everything. She laughed, but she leaned in. Because Mark wasn't chasing. He was challenging her. You see, the chase is predictable. The challenge is magnetic. The moment a woman feels you're not trying to get her, but instead inspire her, her dynamic toward you changes. You become a test, not an option. And women love tests that wake up their curiosity. Younger women especially live in a world where validation is cheap. Every post, every text, every like gives them temporary dopamine. But when you challenge her, when you don't react to her beauty like everyone else, you disrupt her pattern. Suddenly you're not another admirer. You're the man who made her feel something new, respect mixed with excitement. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Apply that here. Your resistance becomes the attraction. When you don't fall for her immediately, you force her to bring her best self forward. She starts earning your attention instead of assuming it. But let's be clear. Challenging her doesn't mean playing games. It means living with purpose. You challenge her through your standards, not your sarcasm. You don't ignore her. You invite her into your rhythm. When she tests you, you smile. When she tries to provoke a reaction, you give her peace. When she's uncertain, you give her direction. That's the challenge, not conflict, but composure. Mark told me later that the moment he stopped chasing women, he started attracting higher quality connections. He said, "When I stopped trying to prove I was enough, women started trying to prove they were." That's the polarity you create when you stand in your frame. Younger women don't want to raise you emotionally. They want to rise with you energetically. They're drawn to the man who makes them feel like they're being invited into something, not handed everything. When you lead with calm dominance, you turn the tables. You become the prize, not the pursuer. So stop chasing validation. Stop negotiating your worth. Challenge her through your actions, through your focus, your discipline, your refusal to be shaken by beauty. The less you need her approval, the more she needs your attention. If you've ever felt the difference between chasing and leading, type this below, "I am the standard," and stay right where you are. Because what's coming next will show you how to project strength without saying a single word, and why that's what keeps her hooked long after the first spark fades. Don't skip this part. You'll regret it if you do. Number 6. Touch with intent, not impulse. Touch is the most powerful silent form of communication a man has. Yet most men use it wrong. They touch out of impulse, not intention. They act from nerves, not awareness. And women feel that instantly. She can sense the difference between a man who reaches out to seek approval and one who touches to lead connection. The truth is, women don't want to be touched often, they want to be touched right. A man who understands this doesn't rush, doesn't fumble, doesn't overthink. His touch carries meaning because it's backed by control, not craving. And that control is exactly what younger women find so irresistible in older men. Stoicism teaches this principle perfectly. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That mastery applies to everything, including how you handle desire. Your hand, your energy, your tone, they all communicate one thing, whether you own your impulses or they own you. When you touch impulsively, it's about you. When you touch with intent, it's about her. Most men today move too fast. They mistake physical contact for connection. They touch to get a reaction to confirm their desired. But the Stoic man touches as an expression of calm dominance, not an attempt to create it. His energy says, "I don't need this moment, I choose it." That one difference changes how she feels everything. When you're intentional, even the smallest gesture, brushing her hand, guiding her through a door, a light touch on her back carries weight. It feels deliberate. It tells her you're not acting out of excitement, you're leading from composure. You're saying without words, you can relax. I'm present, I'm here, I'm grounded. Women are intuitive. They feel your energy before they interpret your actions. If your body language is tense, your touch feels invasive. If your breathing is steady, your pace slow, your awareness high, your touch feels electric even if it's barely there. The man who can blend physicality with calm is the one who becomes unforgettable. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This applies to your control over desire. You don't need to fear attraction, you just need to refine it. When you stay composed, desire becomes power, not weakness. You don't repress it, you channel it. That's what makes your presence magnetic. This is where most men fail. They touch to take energy, not to share it. They act from impatience instead of groundedness. The result: the moment feels rushed, forced, transactional. But when you lead with intent, your touch becomes art, slow, rare, meaningful. And remember, the strongest touch often isn't physical at all. It's the pause before it happens, the space that builds tension. Women don't crave endless contact, they crave anticipation. When you control that rhythm, she leans in first. So before your hand ever moves, ask yourself, why am I touching her? If the answer is to fill a void, stop. If it's to connect, to reassure, to lead, proceed slowly. That's what separates the man she remembers from the man she forgets. You don't need to say much. You don't need to do much. Just let your presence do the heavy lifting. Your restraint is your attraction. If you understand this truth, that power lies in control, not action, type this below. I move with intent, and stay close. Because what comes next will shift how you speak, how you lead, and how you make her feel your strength, even in silence. Don't look away now. You'll regret missing this part. Number 7. Speak less, mean more. Most men talk too much. They explain, justify, and overshare because silence makes them nervous. But silence is where power lives. The more comfortable you are with it, the more she listens when you finally speak. A man who speaks less but means more holds gravity, and that gravity is what younger women find intoxicating in older men. Let me give you a picture. Greg, 49, met Mia, 30, at a networking mixer in Austin. She was witty, outspoken, and beautiful, the kind of woman used to men trying to impress her. Most guys around her were talking non-stop, telling stories, bragging about achievements. Greg didn't compete, he listened. When she teased him for being quiet, he smiled and said, "I only speak when I actually have something to say." Then he took a sip of his drink and looked at her, not with arrogance but with calm assurance. She laughed, but her tone changed. Suddenly she was curious. That's the key. Women crave that balance of composure and intrigue. When you speak less, your words carry weight. Each sentence becomes an invitation, not a performance. You shift from being predictable to being felt. You see, the younger man uses words to prove value. The older man uses silence to reveal it. And that's pure Stoic energy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." If you're always trying to control her perception with words, you've already lost your frame. But when you trust your energy, you don't need to say much. You are the frame. Women listen differently to a man who doesn't rush. His pauses make her lean in. His tone, low and deliberate, creates a rhythm that feels safe but charged. When you let your presence breathe through silence, she fills it with curiosity, not boredom. Greg told me later that he used to talk too much on dates because he wanted to keep the conversation alive. Then I realized, he said, when I slowed down, they started talking more, and when they talked more, they started revealing more. That's when real connection began. Exactly. The less you talk, the more she invests. She starts wondering what you're thinking. She starts chasing your attention with her words. And when you finally respond, your voice feels like a reward because it's rare. Silence isn't emptiness, it's signal. It tells her you're composed, that you don't seek her validation, that you're comfortable being misunderstood for a moment. That's an energy younger men can't fake, the patience that only comes from experience. Women find comfort in men who can hold space in conversation, in silence, in energy. So don't fill the air just to keep her engaged. Let her feel the quiet between words. That's where the tension builds. That's where respect begins. Greg didn't have to tell Mia about his life story. He asked a few simple questions, shared short insights, then left room for her to feel him. "You talk like you already know how this goes," she told him that night. And he smiled because he did. So remember, a man who speaks constantly is chasing connection. A man who speaks selectively creates it. If you've ever learned to make silence louder than words, type this below. I speak with purpose, and stay right here. Because the next insight goes even deeper into control, not through what you say, but through how you lead. Don't click away. This is where it starts to click. Number 8. Lead the rhythm, let her follow. Every interaction between a man and a woman has a rhythm, a pace, a flow of energy that either creates attraction or kills it. Most men don't realize this. They let her set the rhythm. She texts, he replies. She pulls away, he chases. She flirts, he reacts. That's not leading, that's following her tempo. And the man who follows her rhythm slowly fades into the background of her attention. True attraction happens when you set the pace, when your words, your tone, and even your pauses dictate the energy between you. When you lead the rhythm, she naturally synchronizes to it. That's not control, that's masculine gravity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you control your internal rhythm, your emotions, your reactions, your timing, you control the entire dynamic. You can't force connection, but you can conduct it. You're not trying to move her, you're guiding her to feel moved by you." The Stoic man understands that attraction is a dance of polarity. The masculine leads, the feminine flows. But leading doesn't mean domination. It means structure. You hold the frame. You provide the calm tempo. You decide when to accelerate and when to slow things down. Women feel safe and excited when a man can do that, because he's not looking to take from her, he's showing her how to feel more. Look at how most men interact today, messages filled with nervous energy, fast replies, unnecessary emojis, instant reactions. That rhythm screams, "I'm trying to keep your attention." But the older man who's mastered composure responds differently. He doesn't rush to answer. He lets pauses breathe. He controls tone instead of volume. His pace says, "I'm not in a hurry, and neither should you be." That calm pacing resets the dynamic. She stops testing and starts trusting. Seneca once wrote, "If a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable." That applies perfectly here. If you don't know the rhythm you're setting, you'll be carried by hers. But when you move with purpose, even silence becomes seductive. She'll lean into your timing, your energy, your steadiness. That's when she starts to feel the difference between a man who talks fast and a man who moves slow, the difference between excitement and desire. Here's what leading rhythm looks like in practice. You speak slowly but with conviction. You make eye contact long enough to create tension, then look away intentionally. You give her space to talk, but you don't rush to fill every pause. You touch with restraint, not impulse. You direct the pace of intimacy without forcing it. You lead every beat of the interaction with presence. The result, she feels guided, not manipulated. And that feeling, the sense that she's falling into your energy, is what makes younger women addicted to older men. It's not about playing games, it's about owning tempo. You're not reacting to her rhythm, you're teaching her yours. When you lead like that, she follows naturally. Not because she's submitting, but because she feels safe surrendering to a man who's grounded enough to hold space for her emotions. Remember, the strongest men don't move fast, they move deliberately. Every word, every glance, every touch is measured. That's how you keep her guessing, not through chaos, but through control. If you understand that true power lies in leading calmly, type this below. I move to my own rhythm. And don't go anywhere. What's coming next reveals a truth most men never see, one that decides whether she stays intrigued or starts to drift away. Stay right here, because missing it might cost you the advantage. Number 9. Playfully unpredictable, keep her guessing. Predictability kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. The moment she knows exactly how you'll react, what you'll say, or when you'll call, the tension dies. What was exciting becomes routine. What was magnetic becomes comfortable. And once a woman feels comfortable, she stops feeling curious. That's why being playfully unpredictable isn't about games, it's about staying alive in her imagination. Let's make this real. Ethan, 51, met Natalie, 33, at a local art gallery in Miami. Their first few conversations were full of energy, witty, intelligent, and natural. But after a few dates, he noticed her enthusiasm fading. She started replying slower, less engaged. Most men would double down, send more texts, plan bigger dates, try harder to win her back. Ethan didn't. Instead, he adjusted his rhythm. He went quiet for a few days, focused on his work, then sent a short message. "You disappeared. I thought you were allergic to good conversation. No emoji, no chase, just confidence wrapped in humor." It worked. Not because it was clever, but because it broke the pattern. Predictability is emotional death. Women crave emotional movement, a sense that every interaction could turn in a new direction. They want to feel, not just hear. Ethan's message reintroduced uncertainty, and uncertainty reignites desire. He wasn't rude or distant. He was playful. He created a moment that reminded her, this man isn't waiting around. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." That applies perfectly here. Being playfully unpredictable doesn't mean being unreliable or careless. It means knowing yourself so well that you can bend the rhythm intentionally. You add spice without losing integrity. You challenge her, not confuse her. The key is balance. If you disappear for too long, she loses connection. But if you're too available, she loses respect. The art lies in dancing between the two. You don't vanish, you recalibrate. You go quiet, not to punish her, but to refocus your attention. You shift plans, change your tone, surprise her with calm confidence when she expects neediness. You keep her wondering, what's he thinking, what's he doing? That's when attraction deepens. Ethan told me later, I stopped trying to make her comfortable. I started making her intrigued. And that changed everything. She began initiating, reaching out first, showing up more attentive, because now he had emotional leverage. Playful unpredictability also shows maturity. Younger men are unpredictable because of immaturity. They act without thought. Older men can be unpredictable with intent. You can choose when to break patterns, when to add humor, when to shift energy. That choice is what keeps her attention anchored on you. Think of it this way. If every moment with you feels predictable, she's already seen the ending. But if each moment feels like a new chapter, she keeps reading. You're not playing hard to get, you're hard to predict. So don't text every morning, don't respond instantly, don't plan every date the same way. Let her feel like she's discovering you even after knowing you. You don't have to do much. A pause, a change of tone, a subtle joke is enough to reset her curiosity. When you live this way, you become exciting without chaos, steady without dullness. You make her feel safe in your mystery. If you've ever seen how unpredictability reignites attraction, type this below. I lead with mystery. And stay with me. Because what's next isn't about mystery, it's about mastery. The kind of energy that doesn't just attract women, it transforms how they see you. Don't even think about leaving now. Number 10. Be the experience she tells her friends about. Every woman talks about a man, not necessarily the one she dates the longest, but the one who made her feel the most alive, the one who stood out, the one whose presence lingered even when he wasn't around. That's the man who becomes the story she tells her friends about over coffee, the one who gets brought up in late-night conversations when they ask, what was it about him? Here's the truth. Most men miss women don't remember the gifts, the texts, or even the dates themselves. They remember how you made them feel. And that feeling doesn't come from trying too hard. It comes from being completely grounded in who you are. You become unforgettable when your energy is rare, calm, present, masculine, but deeply human. The men who leave a lasting imprint don't just attract women. They create an emotional experience. Every interaction becomes a memory, a glance that feels charged, a pause that builds tension, a conversation that feels like connection, not performance. These moments are subtle but powerful. They stay with her because they're authentic. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's exactly what women respond to. You don't need to tell her how confident you are. You show it through how you move, how you speak, and how you stay composed when things don't go your way. You don't need to talk about masculinity. She feels it when you maintain your center, even when she tests your edges. This is what separates the men she forgets from the man she can't stop thinking about. The unforgettable man doesn't chase validation. He creates an energy that validates itself. When she's around him, she feels both grounded and curious, safe and thrilled. It's a paradox most men never learn to embody. Think about this. Every woman has a group chat or a close friend she confides in. When she meets a man who gives her butterflies, she talks. Not about his car, not his job, but about the way he looks at her, the calm in his voice, the way he says less but somehow means more. She tells her friends, "He's different." That's not something you can fake. That's something you become. Being the experience doesn't mean being perfect. In fact, perfection is forgettable. It's your restraint, your small imperfections, your authenticity that make you real, and real is what women remember. The Stoics knew this well. To be human is to be imperfect, but to accept imperfection with grace is strength. So how do you become that man? You live your life with purpose outside of her. You keep your frame steady whether she's there or not. You bring presence into every moment, not to impress, but to express. You make her feel seen, not through compliments, but through awareness. When you do that, every time she's around you, the world fades. Time slows. That's what she tells her friends about the man who didn't try to own her attention, but effortlessly commanded it. And the irony, when you stop trying to be memorable, you become unforgettable. When you stop chasing, she starts replaying. When you stop performing, she starts feeling. That's what it means to be the experience. You don't compete with other men, you become the standard. So remember this, your goal isn't to make her like you. It's to make her feel something she's never felt before. Because when she does, she'll never stop thinking about you. Throughout this video, we uncovered what truly draws younger women to older men. Not money, not looks, but energy. The calm confidence, the mystery, the ability to lead, stay grounded, and make her feel something real. You've learned how to move with intent, how to speak with meaning, and how to create emotional experiences that last long after you're gone. If you've found value in this message and you're ready to go even deeper, to learn how to master masculine energy and emotional control on a level most men never reach, join our private membership. Inside, you'll gain access to exclusive lessons, deeper Stoic insights, and advanced strategies to help you grow as a man in every area of life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's how you make sure you never miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.